Hello, welcome to the final roundup of PA Speedweek 2022. Unfortunately, I was supposed to make a video on Selinsgrove as the finale. My uncle passed away that day, though I did not go, did not watch the race. But here we are, and let's go through it. Let's look at the entire 10 days, 9 races of 2022. Night number 1 started out at the central point of Williams Grove on June 24th. With 29 drivers there, it ended up going to Anthony Macri on night number 1 after a nice charge from Brent Marks and Justin Peck, also showing that they were two of the hot drivers to watch for the entirety of Speedweek. This is the top 10 rundown from Williams Grove. The second night was on Saturday, June 25th at Lincoln Speedway. That was a really great event. I think it showed that Troy Wagaman is becoming a name to watch at Lincoln itself, but the same top 3 as the first night, with Anthony Macri winning again, and then Justin Peck and Brent Marks flipping positions. Here's the top 10 rundown from night number 2. Night number 3 was rained out at BAP Speedway, so the actual race number 3 happened at Lincoln again, so back-to-back events there. Brent Marks ended up winning over Kyle Larson, who made his first appearance of Speedweek, and Anthony Macri rounding out the top 3. The rest of the top 10 shown on the screen. Troy Wagaman, another great performance there, and Christopher Bell also having a great night in his first showing of the week. On Tuesday, we went to Grandview, which is a track that isn't raced super often by the PA Posse, so it levels the field a little bit for invaders. And by leveling the field for those invaders, we actually had 4 of them win the heat races and ended up going to Rico Abreu for the overall win that night. Anthony Macri and Brent Marks made up the top 3 as well. To this point, both of them have been in every podium so far. Final rundown of the positions. Wednesday, June 29th, was a bit of a turnaround. It was sort of the moment when the championship of Speedweek started to separate a little bit. With a good run all the way through the night, but then engine trouble taking him out of the race, Anthony Macri ended up finishing in 19th position, which was a fair blow to the championship points-wise. The final top 3 for the night was Brent Marks winning over a nice fight, the second and third spots between the Wagners, Mike coming in front of Logan. Here's your top 10. For Thursday, they went to Hagerstown, and that was a pretty nice race, actually. It was a pretty good show. A lot of people came out for that event, for it being all the way down in Maryland. Brent Marks won his second race in a row and his third of 4 races over Kyle Larson, who made a late race charge and had a last lap attempt at making a pass for the win, and Anthony Macri, who didn't start off super high up in the grid, but was able to charge up through the field as the track aged to get into the podium. Final top 10 shown here, with Freddie Raymer also completing a 3-race streak of 10th place finishes. The first day of July was the second race at the Grove for the month, and there were some standouts in the heat races. Dylan Norris and Robbie Kendall doing exceptionally well. Troy Wagaman also winning a heat race, so showing he's pretty strong at other tracks besides just Lincoln right now. It ended up going down to Brent Marks over Anthony Macri and Rico Abreu for the top 3. Anthony Macri made a nice race out of the end of it, and him and Marks went sort of at each other with a nice battle to the end. The penultimate race of Speedweek was at Port Royal Speedway on July 2nd. The track aged fairly nicely. It took a while through the heat races for it to start getting slick and the racing to start getting exciting. But once we got to the feature, we had a really great show, at least for the rest of the field. Brent Marks was absolutely just gone from the front of the grid. He won over Logan Wagner and then Mike Wagner. So the same top 3 as Wednesday night, just flipping second and third places. Rico Abreu with a very quiet 4th place as you look at the rest of the top 10 rundown. And the final night at Selinsgrove Speedway. I didn't get the chance to go through Selinsgrove that night, but there were 23 cars in attendance at Selinsgrove Speedway. Your heat winners were Devin Borden, Brent Marks, and Steve Buckwalter. As there were only 23 cars, there was no B-main necessary. And at the end of it all, Danny Dietrich won his first race of Speedweeks over Brent Marks in second and Justin Peck in third. Here's the top 10 rundown from Selinsgrove. Statistically speaking, Brent Marks had the most of everything except heat wins, as Rico had 4 to his 3, but Brent Marks won 5 of the 9, and he was in the top 3 every single race. So he had all top 3s, all top 5s, and all top 10s at the end of the week. Rico Abreu won 1 race and had a solid 6 top 10s out of 6 entries as well. Anthony Macri won 2 races. He did not show up at Selinsgrove after having all of the trouble he did, but he still got 6 top 10s as well. Danny Dietrich pulled off a win after racing in every event, 6 top 10s. And Justin Peck in the top 10 8 out of 9 times for the week with a heat race win and 3 podiums to his name. I must say, I think of everybody to be impressed by, obviously, Brent Marks was very impressive, but I was super impressed by Troy Wagaman's efforts throughout the week. He won heat races every time he showed up. He got into the top 5 once, and 6th place and a 7th place also in those attempts. So he was in the top 10 every time he raced. He was really impressive, and he hasn't run a full schedule at Lincoln this year like he sometimes does. So I think if he keeps showing up, he'll get a win over there soon enough. I think Ryan Timms shaped up really nicely over the course of the week, so I'm happy to have seen him get into the top 10 at Selinsgrove, and I think it was interesting to watch Danny Dietrich very slowly get back into form over the course of the week because he had an awful start to Pennsylvania Speedweek this year. Logan Wagner and Mike Wagner both had excellent runs as well at the 2 races at Port Royal, and I was kind of surprised at Freddie Raymer and Chase Dietz. I just kind of thought maybe that we'd see a little more out of them. Same with Kyle Moody. I definitely thought Kyle would make more events. He showed up for all 9 races, and he was in the feature for 5 of them. And here is your final rundown of points for Pennsylvania Speedweek 2022. Obviously, Brent Marks wins. He won more than half of the races, so that makes perfect sense. Justin Peck had a great week, being in the top 10 8 out of 9 times. So he finished 2nd. Anthony Macri ended up 3rd. Danny Dietrich 4th. Lucas Wolf 5th after showing up for every race. That was a very solid run for him. TJ Stutz was very consistent and quiet, getting top 10s. So he ended up 6th place. Rico Abreu in 7th, and 8th was Freddie Raymer. Ryan Smith got 9th, and rounding out the top 10 in points was Devin Borden. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the rundown that I did. Every race, I know, they're not perfect. And, family things are more important, so I missed some stuff as well. But I hope, nonetheless, everybody enjoyed seeing what was going on. And I'm excited to do next year again. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in 2023.